and welcome in everybody to this episode of the Chicago Sports Mayhem talk show. I know last night's episode was up for a little bit, that got taken down. I apologize for that. We had some technical difficulties with it. I am your host, Andrew Mighty Man Scheid, and with me again tonight is Ernie Krause. Ernie, how you doing tonight, my buddy?
I'm doing fine. It's actually my Friday night, in fact.
Yes, it is for you. There's a lot going on for you. You and I are both kind of at the end of this program, but that's a good thing. It means we're moving on in life. But tonight we got a great show lined up for you. We're going to be talking some NHL Stanley Cup Finals. Game 1 is in the books as of last night. And we're going to be talking segment 2. We're going to be talking some NBA Finals. Game 1 is currently going on as we're recording this tonight. One thing I want to talk about, I'm not well versed in current NHL, but I can say this. The Golden Knights did take down the Hurricanes last night by a score of 5-4, which means the Knights now lead the Stanley Cup Series by a score of 1-0. Game 2 is set for tomorrow night. Ernie, your thoughts on this game, because you're more well-versed in current NHL than I am, so I will let you take the reins on this one, and I will play off you for this segment.
Well, I think what definitely summarized this game is how back and forth it was. You saw the final score that was on the screen, 5-4. The first goal was scored in less than 30 seconds into the game by Carolina. So
you're kidding me.
I am not kidding you. That's what actually happened. And if we had video, I would show you it. And you can look at the clock and you can look at what period it is. And you will see that at the 1935 mark on the clock, 25 seconds, ding, score.
But don't you expect, and I'm from a childhood where the Chicago Blackhawks won 3 Stanley Cups in 5 years, so I was a little spoiled as a child, everybody, I will say that. But Ernie, wouldn't you say that the Stanley Cup Finals is where the most scoring will happen in a hockey game, because you got the two best teams facing off against each other?
That is a very good point, so I will say this, let me pull this up. When it comes to both of these teams, they absolutely dominated in the playoffs. I should have done this earlier. That's on me. Let me just bring this in.
You're new to
You're new
to doing it this way.
Yeah,
so.
and doing it at this angle. Anyone at home that has no idea what I'm doing, so the camera's right there, but the screen with everything is to my right.
Yes,
so anyways, some facts about the Vegas Golden Knights. They were 39, 26, and 17 in a very abysmal, and I mean abysmal, Pacific Division. And yet they're in here, but I'll go over that in a little bit.
You could leave the lower third up if you want and just switch the camera.
Okay. But throughout these playoffs, 12-4, and in the Western Conference Finals, they did sweep the President's Trophy winner, Colorado Avalanche, and of course, currently lead 1-0 in the Stanley Cup Final.
Now, what does this mean for Carolina going forward, right?
Now, for Carolina, I will say this. I do think that they will get their stuff together. Let me just bring up their stats. Now, Carolina has been absolutely dominant this season. As you can see, 53, 22, and 7 in the regular season, a far better record than what the Golden Knights put together. 12-1 in this year's playoffs. First round, they swept Ottawa, and then they swept Philadelphia, and then they only lost one game in this playoffs. One game, so like the 05 White Sox. It was game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals against Montreal. It was like 6-1 or 6-2. It was a really bad game for the Hurricanes, which for the Hurricanes, 20 years ago, they won a cup. And since then, they had only won one game in the 4 Eastern Conference Finals that they had appeared in. And this was finally one that broke the streak against the Canadiens. Now, of course, they are down 1 in the Stanley Cup Final, but I think this is one of those series that can easily go to 7 games.
Yes. And when you switch my camera, leave that lower third up, because I would like to talk about that.
Yeah, sure. Let me just do that.
Leave that up. Let's talk about this, guys. And we're at a new setup now. I mean, these numbers for Carolina, and you can just leave this up there while I talk, Ernie.
All right, go ahead.
These numbers for Carolina, it would assume to me that this is a team that can come back from being down in the Stanley Cup Series.
Absolutely.
Considering how you said they just played in the playoffs. I mean, they were dominant. And, and I watched some highlights today of this match before doing the show. And I have to say that Carolina did not play bad yesterday.
No.
Let's just say that. They did not play bad. They were right on the Golden Knights' heels. They were a goal away, and I don't think I've ever seen a Stanley Cup Final game end in a tie. I don't know if you have.
No. In the playoffs, it has to be a winner. Otherwise,
so it's kind of like in MLB where it can't end in a tie. It has to be playing out till someone scores a winning goal.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay. See, I'm still learning about some sports, everyone. I'm not well versed in everything, and I will say that. Ernie, you could probably say you're not well versed in every sport on the planet.
No, I would say soccer is not my strong suit. I know some things about soccer. Honestly, I know more about bowling than I do soccer and golf.
One thing about soccer, some people get wrong is it's not played on a field.
It's played on a pitch.
Yes, it is played on a pitch. Not a lot of normal everyday soccer fans that are just will know that. Yeah. People that are really well versed in the sport.
And of course, they're not jerseys; they're kits.
Yep, they're knits.
Hey, did you see the new Manchester City kit? It looks very awesome.
Yes. But this Stanley Cup Finals is far from over, everyone. And I do think the Hurricanes can come back in this one. I mean, but look at this Golden Knights. Lower third we got. I mean, they're just as threatening as the Carolina Hurricanes, wouldn't you say, Ernie?
Yes. So, of course, now I did mention that they swept the Colorado Avalanche, who were the President's Trophy winner. Now, the President's Trophy winner, think of it as like an MVP trophy, except it's rewarded to a team. So the MVP of the season was Colorado. Now, there is a bit of a curse attached to it.
Okay, I would like this explained to me.
Now, would you like to know who the last President's Trophy winner was that won the Stanley Cup?
Who was it?
The 2012-2013 Blackhawks, the year they beat Boston.
Oh, no, yeah, nope, now I remember.
Yes, the 2013 Blackhawks, that was the last time.
You're taking me back like 13 years. And it took me a while to wait a minute. Yeah, it was the Blackhawks who won the
it's been that long, and of course, that's got a bit of an asterisk on it because that was a lockout-shortened season.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was a lockout season, but... frankly, that's where we're headed in the MLB, and I should really talk about that in an upcoming episode.
That'll definitely be something for a future episode.
But yeah, I mean, this Stanley Cup is far from over. I mean, Game 1 is in the books, but I always say taking Game 1 is the hardest part in any final series, whether it be the World Series, the Stanley Cup, the NBA Finals, any final series. That first game is always the hardest, but it's crucial in my mind to get that first game because you're not fighting down right away.
I can see Carolina absolutely taking Game 2. Will it be close? I can see that, but I do. But I lost my words. I lost my train of
one
thought.
thing I want to take a look at before we start getting ahead of ourselves is Game 2 is set for tomorrow, at 7 p.m. our time, I think. It just says 7 p.m. tomorrow on my screen, so we're gonna go with 7 p.m. Central Time.
Okay.
Just because that's what I have my computer set for. But yeah, I mean, the Vikings lead 1-0, and I mean, both these teams are formidable. From the highlights I've seen, both these teams are formidable, and this is a game. This is a series, like you said, and I truly believe you that it could go and probably will go to the full 7-game series.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's very indicative of the Hurricanes because 2006, the last time they were in the final and also the only time they won, that also went to 7 games against the Edmonton Oilers. And they were a very tough team that year as well, and then kind of fell off a cliff, but that's another story for another day.
Are these the two teams, Ernie, that you expected to be there when the season was in playoffs were said and done?
I will say this. So Vegas next season will be their 10th season ever.
Okay, yeah.
I will say this. I kind of expected Colorado to be in the finals just because of how dominant they were in the regular season. And then to see them just get swept by the Golden Knights is frankly very, very eye-opening. And I know I just said, President's Trophy winner curse, but like this Colorado team was too legit to quit. Now, of course, they had injuries to guys like Cale Makar and Nathan McKinnon, but at the same time, it's like you still have that expectation, especially when you go into the Western Conference Finals like they did.
Right. Yeah, I mean, like I said, this is going to be a fun Stanley Cup Finals to watch if you're a hockey fan. I do believe, like I said, after watching those highlights, it's good, in my opinion, going to go at least 6. I think it might go the full 7. But then again, I'm not that well versed in current hockey. I'm just going off the highlights I've seen and what these teams in the NHL have put out there for fans to see as well. But Ernie, another finals is going on, and I honestly don't know who's going to win that one, but we're going to have to talk about it right after this. Do your kids love fire engines and the fire service? Come on down to the Elgin Fire Bar No. 5 Museum in Elgin, Illinois, 533 St. Charles Street. If you want to get married on the back of a fire engine, come on down to the Elgin Fire Bar No. 5 Museum. Rentals of the building starting out just $100. Join the thousands of people already through the doors. Don't wait, come now. Do your kids love fire engines and the fire service? Come on down to the Elgin Fire Bar No. 5 Museum in Elgin, Illinois, 533 St. Charles Street. If you want to get married on the back of a fire engine, come on down to the Elgin Fire Bar No. 5 Museum. Rentals of the building starting out just $100. Join the thousands of people already through the doors. Don't wait, come now. And welcome back, everybody, to the Chicago Sports Mayhem Show. I am your host, Andrew Mighty Man Scheid, and with me tonight is guest host Ernie Krause. How we doing tonight, Ernie?
I'm doing pretty good, I would say.
Now, before we left, we talked about another sports finals that is going on, and that is the NBA Finals. Game 1 is currently live as we are recording this on Wednesday night. Currently, the San Antonio Spurs lead the Knicks score 37-32 with 5:52 left to go in the first half. Who will win it all is the question. Now, Ernie and I have got a friend who's got a horse in this race in the New York Knicks. Josh, if you're watching the show, I know you're pulling your hair out right now and you're mad as hell, but they're actually only down by 4, so it is not unfeasible for the Knicks to win game 1 still. Ernie, NBA Finals are here. And I've been excited for this because both the Spurs and the Knicks played outstanding in the regular season. They played outstanding in the playoffs. Ernie, what are your thoughts about this?
I do think that, the Spurs are the more dominant team, especially how they even tackled OKC, which was definitely the team to beat as they were the defending champs from the year prior. Now, I will give the Knicks this. They do have a lot of amazing players. Now, unfortunately, Jalen Brunson just got hurt in this game, but you still got OG Anunoby, you still got Karl Anthony Towns, you still have a lot of support from this Knicks team. Now, of course, the big question is who is going to take down the likes of Victor Wembanyama? Wemby is the man.
I mean, he really is. And one thing, and Ernie, you could put that lower third back up if you want. One thing with Wemby, everybody, is he is becoming that new superstar, right? He is becoming the new, I don't want to say LeBron James, but pretty close to. I mean, he's gained his own popularity, right?
Yeah.
And
I feel like the next superstar keeps getting thrown around because they also said that about Nikola Jokic, and it's also been said about Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Jason Tatum. When I will say this, we haven't had a repeat winner in the NBA Finals since 2018 when the Warriors won back-to-back in 2017 and 2018. So
right.
There's a lot more parity in the NBA. We're still waiting for that next dynasty, and I think that's what fans are looking for.
I think the last dynasty we saw in the NBA was the reboot of the Showtime Lakers when Jerry West was GM and not a player. When he brought in Shaq and he drafted Kobe out of high school. I mean, I think that was the last time we saw a true dominant team.
Well, I would also add I would also add the 2010s Golden State Warriors winning in 15, 17, 18, and then 2022 as well. You have Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green. Now, of course,
wait a minute, I have to cut you off, Ernie, because as we're saying this live, the Knicks just take a 1-point lead over San Antonio, 40-39.
All right.
Just over 3 minutes left to go in the first half, and the reason this is not being put out there live, this is a recording, I will say that, but it is going out the same night as the game, Ernie. So, not feeling too bad giving them a live score. But yeah, like I just said, the Knicks still can win this game. There's a lot of game left. I think this is a series. Watching these teams like I did this year, and I didn't catch a lot of their games, but what I did catch, I mean, these two teams were dominant all season long. And Ernie, we have a graphic just showing their regular season records. And I think the thing that astonished me, guys, is they weren't at the top of their divisions when the season ended. The Spurs ended the season at 62-20. Very good, modest record. Let's be honest about that, Ernie. Very good, modest record.
Oh, absolutely.
And the Knicks at 53-29. So not too much worse than
I
the
mean,
Spurs.
it's still respectable. They like you mentioned before the show, they did finish second in the Atlantic Division behind the Boston Celtics, and third in the conference overall, also behind the Pistons.
Yes. So, this is where I can say who will win it all? I don't know. I think this is one NBA Finals series that, like the Stanley Cup series we said in the last segment, I think this one can go to 7 games too, Ernie. For sure, without a doubt. I think both these teams are going to give each other a run for their money. Now, I will say this. Part of me is for the Knicks, because of our good buddy Josh over here at Illinois Media School. He's a big Knicks fan. He's from New York. He's from that area. But there's that sports pundit part of me, Ernie, that wants to see Victor Wembanyama get his first ring.
That's reasonable.
You know what I mean? He's one of those guys you want to get that ring. Like,
I will say this.
Him without one.
I will say this. I think the Spurs win. And that's because of one thing. Wemby is in villain mode right now. After that very ticky-tacky series against the Thunder, especially when, him and a lot of people criticized the refs for favoring the Thunder, Wemby just went into villain mode and just absolutely dominated, and that's why they were able to come back down from 3 games to 2 and win the West.
Yeah, I mean, both these, like I said, they're formidable squads. And I think one thing, too, that both these teams have is depth coming off the bench. And that's something not every NBA team has. I mean, you want my opinion? The Bulls did not have it this year. They had no depth coming off that bench.
They didn't have a lot. That's the Bulls' problem is that they had a lot of issues, and it's going to be a while before they're even somewhat passable, frankly, especially just given how they had that, somewhat reboot. Like they hired Billy Donovan, they traded 2 firsts for Nikola Vucevic, DeMar DeRozan, extending Zach LaVine, Alex Caruso, and it just didn't work.
And look how Caruso's doing over in OKC. Man, I mean, it's like, I'm done.
Have you ever seen that image where someone compares Caruso on the Thunder and says that he looks like Elmer Fudd from Space Jam?
He does. Now, I want to ask you this question. A lot of people had OKC pegged to make it into this finals. Do you have a speculation or opinion why they didn't make it into the finals?
Wemby absolutely just, played lockdown defense and made sure to snake around defenders, especially Chet Holmgren, and get that ball in the basket. Yeah. He absolutely was the MVP of that series through and through.
Put it to you this way, in the game that is currently going on as we're recording this episode, in the first quarter of Game 1 in the NBA Finals, the Knicks only scored 19, which I kind of see that as a regular season performance, wouldn't you? Or subpar performance.
That's putting it lightly.
And then San Antonio in that same quarter outscores them 27-19. So, I mean, that gave the Spurs a very good lead going into the second quarter of Game 1 of the NBA Finals. So, I mean, it's just getting off to a hot start for teams, I think, is a crucial thing, too. Getting off to a hot start and not really lollygagging about, because we talked about it in yesterday's episode that had technical issues. Bregman, in terms of the MLB for the Cubs, he's always known of not having a good first half. Well, now he's in a division where you can't really afford not to have a good first half. And it's kind of the same thing with the NBA Finals. You can't afford to have a slow start because you're now going up against the other best team in the NBA this year. And if you give them any team like the Spurs or the Knicks, in my opinion, an inch, they will take a mile and never give it back.
Oh, absolutely. And just like the Stanley Cup Final, this is certainly far from a boring series. Like, it is going to be entertainment through and through. Now, of course, I said I do think the Spurs will win, but I think it will be entertaining because, of course, as you Andrew may or may not know, this is a finals rematch. The last time the Spurs and Knicks faced each other in the finals was in 1999. Now, of course, that was a shortened season, but
I was
still.
I wasn't here yet.
No, you did not exist yet, but that was the last time we saw these two duke it out in the finals, and also the last time the Knicks were ever in the finals, because, of course, throughout the 2000s and into the 2010s, the Spurs became a dynasty under coach Greg Popovich, and, of course, at that time, they had a wise and experienced David Robinson, as well as this young guy named Tim Duncan. I don't know if you ever heard of him, but Tim Duncan's really awesome.
Stacked back then. But I do think, and the halftime score in Game 1, Ernie, 55-48 in favor of the San Antonio Spurs. So
I told you.
These games are going to be close. And dare I say, I think this is one of the closest NBA Finals series we're going to see in terms of maybe 3-point games, 2-point games, maybe even a 1-point game. I think this is the closest in terms of that we're going to see in the NBA Finals in a while.
Oh, easily.
Easily. I could honestly see in Game 1 a team losing by a point or 3,
Yeah. Now, of course, another thing that it's going to come down to is health, because, like I mentioned earlier, Jalen Brunson is currently injured, and that's a big hindrance for the Knicks.
What does that mean for the Knicks? Let's go to that.
That takes away a lot of scoring opportunities, and we saw this last year in Game 7 of the finals between OKC and Indiana. That was another one that went to 7 games, could have gone either way, but the true deciding factor that absolutely locked in a Thunder championship was when Tyrese Halliburton went down and tore his ACL on the court.
And before Brunson went down in this game, and I'm just going to give you his numbers, everybody, and before he went down, he played 17 minutes. He scored 11 of the 48 points before half. He was 5 for 15 in field goals, 1 for 5 in 3-point attempts. And then he had 3 rebounds and 2 assists. So, I mean, like you said, a big piece of that Knicks offense, even though it's 11 out of 48 points. You look at that like, okay, it's 11 points. But now take 11 points off of that 48.
It absolutely adds up.
Yeah. And like I said, with him going down, I mean, your next biggest score, I mean, he was the biggest scorer so far in this game. The next biggest scorer after him is Karl Anthony Townsend, who has 8 points going into halftime.
You definitely need a lot more from Cat if you're going to be winning this game.
Yeah, I mean, the Knicks can win this finals. I think they're going to have to work a little harder than San Antonio to get there.
Oh, absolutely. And I would also be curious about the severity of Brunson's injury. We're probably not going to find out until tomorrow, which cheap plug, but we'll probably discuss that here on Scoreboard Therapy.
Yes, you're going to have a show. Tell them about your show, Ernie. Let's promote yourself a little bit here.
So our show, it's me as well as students Josh, Drew, Adam, and Esteban, as well as Eric. We all so originally it was me, Drew, and Josh who came up with Scoreboard Therapy, and then all the other sports emphasis guys, especially ones that come to the morning class, got added. So at first we did it over in Sportstown. It was a radio show podcast style, and now we're running it like a TV production. So,
but where can they find it, and at what time is it on?
You can find it on the Sportstown Chicago YouTube channel. We try to start the show at noon, but it's never guaranteed.
On what day is that?
This show is tomorrow, in fact.
So it's Thursdays in the morning, and I've watched some scoreboard therapy guys. These guys know what you're talking about. Adam is bigger sports brain than me. Let's just put that out there. He knows a lot more about the hockey and basketball, and I know sometimes Josh will hop on scoreboard therapy. We were talking about him in this segment, being the huge Knicks fan that he
Yes.
is, and he's not happy at halftime being down 58-5 to 48.
I do not imagine Josh is that happy, but so we haven't done scoreboard therapy in a while, but it's purely because we've been for class we've been doing games over at Impact Field where the Chicago Dogs play, and we've been getting reps there, and it's been
Yes.
a very good experience. Beautiful ballpark. There have been nights where it's pretty cold, and I should have worn longer pants.
Now, before we end this NBA Finals segment and end today's episode, I want to talk to you about what's coming up tomorrow because it's going to be a lot of fun. Ernie, unfortunately, is not going to be with us tomorrow, but I am going to have some special guests coming on. I'm not going to tell you who for a special live edition of Chicago Sports Mayhem. That's right, I did say live. We will be doing a World Cup preview episode tomorrow night, live from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. We're going to have some special guests on. I don't want to ruin that for everybody, but we're going to have a great time. We're going to be talking some World Cup soccer. I'm going to be supporting the Netherlands. Hup, hup, hup. But, yep, that's where my loyalties lie. We're going to have people in their soccer kits and all kitted out as I like
It's
to
not
say.
soccer, it's football.
Actually, you know what? I've always grew up calling it soccer, but I'm going to be excited for tomorrow
Well,
night.
you are wrong, you twit. It's football.
I'm not from
Not
England.
that sport
My
that you
family is
play,
from
that where everyone's
part-
wearing pads and helmets.
Okay, I'm not from England. I'm from another part of Europe, and yeah. So let's just go there. But let's.
You
just
ever
say
notice
my
how in
country is
all those
ranked-
documentaries, when, even if it's Germany or Russia, they have British accents?
My country is ranked 8th in ESPN's power rankings right now. So,
The worldwide leader in sports.
but yeah, we're gonna have fun with that show tomorrow night, and hopefully a lot of people can tune in. If not, you can always watch the show replay. I'm going to put it up the same night as a video instead of a live, so it's easier to find. But yeah, I want to thank Ernie for joining me here on Chicago Sports Mayhem and doing this show with me and just having fun talking sports. I know I said I'd like to keep it Chicago centric, but tonight we just have fun talking some finals that are coming up, and it was just fun to talk about that. If you're a basketball fan, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and same with hockey fans. I hope you enjoyed this episode as well. Like I said, we will be back tomorrow night. You got a heavy dose of Chicago Sports Mayhem this week. Just because that's how my class has worked out. But yeah, see everybody tomorrow night for the special live edition of Chicago Sports Mayhem. Cannot wait to see you again. Ernie, thank you for joining me.
My pleasure.
One thing I want to say, because I end every episode with a little word of wisdom, and that's just my special thing, Ernie, to everyone out there who has a dream in life, and because we all have a dream in life, and if you have anyone in your life telling you can't do it or you can't achieve that dream, get them out of your life, because in my mind, anything that you put your mind to, you can accomplish. If you want to do it, you put the hard work in, you don't stop. There's nothing that you can't accomplish. And I'm proof of that myself. I only started doing radio and television here, Ernie, a year ago. And look where I'm at now. So if you grind hard and you want it that bad, you can get whatever you want. Just work hard at it, and you can achieve whatever goal you set your mind to. But that's my little word of wisdom, everybody. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your night. Wonderful start to your day tomorrow, and I will see everyone tomorrow night, June 4th, 2026, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time for the special live edition of Chicago Sports Mayhem World Cup preview episode. Thank you, everyone, for joining in.